The story begins with a scene where the main character wakes up in a bar coming to. Hello guys, my name is Ben and I talk about anime. Yes guy, I know, my English is so bad, but I hope you understand me. Well, please guys, subscribe to my channel and enjoy watching this video. Let's go. He realizes that he has fallen into a computer game that he played that night before. Such an unusual twist, isn't it? Finding equipment, he decides to go outside and look around. As soon as he gets out, he notices a group of passing farmers and peasants. A little later, he hears cries in the distance. Looking in that direction, he sees the bandits of the same level. As the peasants are preparing for battle, without thinking, he decides to help and kills all the bandits. In gratitude, the most he could do with the farmers says good luck in the battle. The village elder, Samara, approaches him and invites him into his house. Sorry, the old man shows the loot they collected after the fight and gives some of it to the guy. Later, the main character decides to rest and exit the game, but he can't, so he realizes with fear that he stuck here for a long time. How unexpected, right? Later, he remembers that the game warned him that once he started the game, he would be able to return to reality. Understating that this is his new reality, he realizes that he has to survive and adapt to his new world. Why this guy, why not me? After these scenes, the village elder comes to him with a prisoner who has stolen the band leader's headband from the group of killed bandits as punishment. The prisoner is magically given the social status on thief and sold into slavery. At the end of the conversation, the guy is given the cards of the killed bandits for which he can get a reward in the city of Well. The next morning, they set off for the city. They arrive at the noble knights and Michael Karga receives the reward for 2 bandits, but he notices that the knights are behaving rudely for some no reason. After that, they head to the slave trade house. Upon arriving, slave trader Alan says that he is embarrassed that Mexico was able to handle the bandits alone, to which the main character responds, "It was easy." Oh, look at this cool guy. Alan gives us a special look in response. After that, the slave trader explains that there's labyrinth nearby, to which the main character reacts with surprise. Mitchell receives money for the soul slave and says goodbye to everyone. Mexico is left alone with his frowns of loneliness in this world. At this moment, Alan interrupts him from his frauds and invites him to talk. He agrees and they walk into Alan's luxurious office. Alan offers him to buy a slave, understating that the main character is a real adventurer, a seeker. He tells that his company also sells female slave. I like this news. At the moment, the boy starts to fantasize, imagine what he would to be with them. In that moment, a girl enters the room with a tray. Mexico turns toward her and looks at her with amazement. He can't believe what has happened and think about the girl's beauty. Alan explains to him that this girl is also a slave and that the protagonist can also buy her. I will do that to them. He also says that she is a beast human, wolf-like creature, smart and dazzling, and that she will be useful in the labyrinth. Alan hits to the guy that he can do whatever he wants with her, even sexual activities. Mexico is filled with debts, and in the end, he asks for the price. Alan replies that he can give her as a discount for 300 gold, including her costume. He replies that he can afford such a purchase. The man gives the guy 5 days to earn enough money, and they say goodbye. At the end of the first series, the protagonist makes the decision to buy the girl because he's attracted to her beauty. We all know why beauties he's talking about, don't we? The second episode begins with the words "this could be a future," explaining to the viewer that the scene shows at this point is the story is not real. Perhaps the main character's dreams might go in his life leave the portal. Roxana asks him, "Why did we come here?" He begins to tell him that he was here once long ago, before he meets Roxana, that it's just a good memory. Then they go to a farmer's field and spot a little boy who looks like Mexico. A scene from the past lets us know that it's a son of protagonist from an unknown woman. He approaches him and starts a conversation. The little boy says that he's growing up without a father. Yo, go pulls a sword from his inventory and gives it to the boy and instructs him to use it wisely, but he didn't understand. Nice. He succeeded and runs to his mother. Later we learn that it was a sword once gifted to Roxana, to which she replies that she didn't mind. The protagonist says goodbye to the place and goes back into the portal. The next scene begins with Mexico sitting at a table and speculating on how to make the remaining 70,000 coins. Just become a streamer on Twitch. Then he remembers a conversation with Alan when he told him about a labyrinth found near the city and that he has 2 options, either to be a bounty hunter or to clear the labyrinth and get money for the artifacts. He also makes it clear that the first option is very dangerous, but profitable. In the end, he decides to start with the labyrinth. After purchasing the necessary equipment, he sets off. When approaching the labyrinth, he notices a group of people, whom they are mages, to know how to open portals. He enters the labyrinth. He opens the interface and sees that he possesses some pre-slave we've obtained yearly by stealing sunlands. Using the portal ability, he enters another room, but realizes that the portal only works in one direction. As he walks down the hall, he encounters a plant mob, which he kills with a single swing of his sword, notices the mighty power of his dirtle. No long after, he finds another mob, and before he kills it, he demonstrates the suppression ability, which slows the enemy. After the fight, he feels weak and realizes that he spent all his mana while using his abilities. Megumi High. He then goes to sell the loot he obtained for 21 branches. He has given 200 coins. The main character, being upset, realizes that at his rate he will not earn the necessary amount of money to buy Roxana, and decides to spend the entire next day in the labyrinth. Not waiting for Morin, he teleports back in the middle of the night while resting after another killed demon. He accidentally discovers a secret room where there is a broken sword. However, it turned out that it is a trap. Megumi High. Guardianet, which comes as surprises to Mexico. He tries to escape by creating a portal, but he finds out that it can be placed during battle. Being extremely exhausted and tired, he gathers his spirit and fights the demons and manages to destroy them all. After that, Mexico realizes that he did not die because his dear Angel has the ability of passive healing. On the way home, he notices a quart of people. Near a free approaching closer, he sees dead bandits, which were probably killed by bounty hunters. One of the gawkers tells him that it is possibly the revenge of the banishment bandits. Considering the situation, he decides to become a bounty hunter instead of an unprofitable clearing on the labyrinth. In the next episode, Mexico walks through the local market and overhears a conversation discussing recently killed bandits who are being avenged by other gang members for being kicked out of the slums. To the north, the hero decides to visit the slum area and opens a portal there. After looking around the night hood, he finds no bandits and decides to go there at night. The main character, taking a flashlight, sets off on his journey. Walking along the street for a bit, he notices a bright light around the corner. It turns out to be a brothel. Mexico decides to turn there. Passing by, he sees naked women, but the guy resists his sexual desires, convincing himself that they are infected and that there is no girl more beautiful than Roxana. Approaching the entrance, he finds a long-awaited bandit. The main character sits on his tail and follows him all the way to the slum. Eventually, they reach the bandit shack. Mexico overhears the bandits talking, one telling the other that the bandit at the city gets killed by the gang members, led by Hugo, whom the protagonist beheaded at the beginning on the first series. After hearing all this, the guy decides to return home and considered his next actions. Upon returning home, the keeper invites Mexico to dine at the establishment. While they sit at the table, the innkeeper tells the main character that there has been a change of leadership. Is one of the gangs, that the candidates from the throne fought, and that the losing bandits were driven out of the city. The bandits who was killed recently was one of those who won. In general, it was presented as if those who were kicked out of the town had done it. They wanted to set someone up in the middle of the night. Mexico decides to set out to the hideout. He discovered early that evening. When he arrives at the location, he begins a conversation with the bandits standing at the door. He asks him for information. In exchange from the bandit of the thief Hugo, the bandit invites him into the house, but it turns out to be a trap, and he intends to kill him. During the conversation, the main character finds out that the man originally intended to get the band on. In the end, Mexico easily deals with him and all those who were sleeping in the cabin, cutting off their hands for the reward for their heads. After everything that has happened, Mexico realizes the currently of this world where there are no rights, no justice, no police, and how desperate his situation is. The next day he goes to the Order's headquarters and exchanges the intelligence cards of the murdered bandits for coins. After counting the number of coins, he is glad he has enough money to buy Roxana. Then he goes to the slave trader house and buys her, having signed a contract for her possession. The next episode begins with a scene in the hotel. Mexico meets his new ward and gives her his sandals, to which she expresses immense gratitude, settling in the hotel. They go to the market. There they buy the girl necessary equipment and clothing. In return, Mexico tries to gain Roxana's trust and shows care and tenderness in every way, but being a slave, she seems to fear or being ashamed to accept the love of the main character. Before bed, the hotel owner brings them hot water so they can wash up. Our hero begins to walk in the morning. Mexico asks Roxana how he can get the blacksmith can do this. The main character notices at this point that the squad also needs a blacksmith. Upon entering the labyrinth, Mexico learns that Roxana can detect nearby enemies by her sense of smell, since she is a wolf-like creature. Upon encountering another pair of mobs, she asks the protagonist for a magic crystal, to which he responds that he has never heard of such an item. She starts to explain to him that the stone accumulates mana after killing enemies, and is the most expensive item for sales, as mana accumulates very slowly. After a successful expedition, they return to the hotel. Roxana asks Mexico if he will return to his homeland. He responds that he likes it here, and that he would like to stay here with her forever. And the rest they go to buy mana crystals. After the purchase, they return to the labyrinth. On the way, Roxana tells him that in fact the labyrinths are alive. Later, the protagonist notices that it will be nice to have a healer in the team. Roxana explains that only priests and monks have healing skills, but to become one of them, you have to kill demons with bare hands. Mitch Echo, after some hesitation, Mexico presses his slave for her help on the expedition, and begins the next morning. We see them standing at the door of the bus. To be continued. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please subscribe to my channel. Well, you have been with you. See you later. Bye bye.